Welcome to the Cherland podcast, where I, Connor Cherland, meet up with a musician, hear about what makes them tick, what inspires them, and what's coming up next in the horizon. On today's episode, we have Dani Stacy. Where did I meet her? Ventura, I think. Dani is an incredible songwriter, as well as a vocalist, guitar player, piano player. So I hope you really enjoy hearing some of her stories. We talk about writing collaborations. We talk about her recent move over to Nashville. And we also talk about lying about your age and other details about your significant other. So please enjoy this conversation between me and Dani.
So you moved to Tennessee, and now you're in an undisclosed location.
I
Clearly
did.
behind you was your typical setting, and now you've closed it off so no one can know.
Yeah, I'm in the basement. So I just hung up some sheets for soundproofing. It looks lame, but it's pretty cool.
What made you move to Tennessee other than COVID?
I guess COVID had a lot to do with it. I mean, it's the reason a lot of people made changes because they're like, I can, why not? But really, I just this guy Jefferson, who I'm closer with now, hit me up and set up some songwriting sessions, and I just started songwriting. And I never was much into co-writing. I never really did it, and I kind of thought a song should come from me if it's going to be genuine and true, which is true. But I don't know, I've learned so much songwriting with other people that they can really just help you really say what you're trying to say. They can elaborate for you. So whatever, I've just been songwriting, and then I visited out here a few times, and I was like, I like it. LA's super shut down right now. Why not?
Tell me about these co-writing sessions. What was your first experience like?
First one was over Zoom. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Those are always just a little bit weird because any awkward silence that you would have in person, you can walk away for a sec or just, it's not weird. But on Zoom, you're like, so,
Yeah.
or people will mute themselves and jam out for a little bit, which I totally respect and appreciate. I'm like, cool, now I can do that. Yeah, and then I came out here, and then I just went to the office, and I've been writing with this dude John a lot, and he's just he's my favorite person to write with. We write once or twice a week, at least just with him, and he's just what I call the finisher, because I'll come in with a half-ass idea. I never realized that might come off dirty. I say that to him. I'm like, you're the finisher. That's the title of a movie,
I think you're thinking of
no?
The Closer, which was a very popular show for a long time.
Maybe I should change that. So he helps me close songs and finish them.
That's awesome. What you were saying that you've learned a ton about what other people can do to help you articulate what it is you're trying to say. What patterns have you noticed within yourself as a songwriter?
Some things that I'll do is I'll mix up the tenses, past, present, and then 1 minute it's he and then it's you. I'm kind of okay with that though sometimes. I'm I was talking about him and now I'm talking to him in the chorus. So, but little details like that I didn't notice. Also, there's just some words that I'll realize I'll throw in that rhyme, and it's no, there's a better word for that. Yeah, just little things like that that have really helped me, or something that makes sense to me because I know what the song is about. From the outside perspective, they're so I get that this is what this song is about, but that doesn't make sense to me. And I'm just kind of oh yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Just little things like that. Just a different perspective.
Helpful. I recently did a co-write with a buddy of mine named Ben, and I came to him with a very, in my mind, finished song, and then for him to be okay, now I know this, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with what you did, but I just have to push back. What does this mean?
Yeah.
And it's very vulnerable.
Yeah, it is. It is.
When you're feeling vulnerable in a songwriting session, is there something that you do to snap yourself out of it? or have you had to like snap somebody else out of it, or like what do you do to kind of shake up the energy when it gets all bogged down?
That is a good question. I would say for the most part, I've been pretty comfortable. There was one the other day, and it was 3 people, and I felt like I like wasn't being heard. You know what I mean? Like none of my ideas were being picked up. Like none of my lyrics, and I was like, they're mean or I suck. You know, like those were my options. I was like, either they're mean or I suck. And then I just had to like kind of snap out of it. Cause I remember listening to this podcast. I think it was Kelly Bannon. And she was like, you have to know like your place in a songwriting session, especially if it's like 3 people, maybe 4 people. You can't always be the quarterback, and you have to know like who the quarterback is. And don't feel like you have to pitch in or say something just to feel like you have value. And I think that's my thing. I'm like, if I don't add anything, then what did they need me here for? But it's like, you just got to know to like sit back and like do what's best for the song. So I don't know. I just kind of remind myself of that. And it's very humbling because I'm naturally competitive. And not that I want to be better than the other people, but I want to feel like I've contributed. So it hurts my ego quite a bit when that happens. And then I just have to go, okay.
How often does that happen?
I can think of just one incident like recently that's happened, but I mean, it happens. It happens all the time. And you just have to say, okay, wasn't the wasn't. And it's the thing is too, is like, it doesn't mean that your idea or your lyric was bad. You know what I mean? It's just like, it just didn't fit. I don't know how else to say it. Or maybe it did, and maybe they do suck. I'm just kidding.
I often feel very vulnerable anytime I'm songwriting, especially when it feels like neither person is taking the quarterback role. Like with a one-on-one situation, because both people, especially if it's like me and another woman, like 2 people who are playing the very meek role, when we're like, I don't know, and it's nice to have someone who's being like, this is how the song is going to sound, and this is kind of my vision for it.
So you're almost being too polite, you think?
Sometimes. Sometimes I am lacking vision or like not asserting what I think the song should be about. When you're starting like at the very like start of a session, how are you guys figuring out what the song is going to be about, or does someone come with something like pre-created?
Yeah, it's different. So like, again, this is all new to me. So like with these guys that I've been working with, the idea is to write songs that would be for me. So in a way, like, I have a little bit of control there. So that's kind of cool. So a lot of times, like, I will walk in with like a half idea or like a concept. But then sometimes we'll write songs and I'll be like, that was cool, but I don't think I should sing that song. You know what I mean? Like, is there any way we can like try and like give that to someone else or whatever? And, like, that happens. But so at first I would say when I came here, it was like a lot of songs that I had already started. But then I like started running out of ideas because I've never written as much as I have at this time in my life. Like, I used to write like maybe a song like every month or 2. Like, honestly, I didn't write that often.
Sorry, how many right now?
I probably write at least probably 1 or 2 a week. Maybe at least 1, if we're being nice, but like a lot. And I never used to write that much. So it's like new and exciting for me, but I'm like, I'm out of ideas. So usually we'll just kind of show up and kind of just like share stories. I'll be like, this happened to me this weekend. We could write about that, you know? And then someone else will be like, I have these chords. It's just different every time.
What's an example of like why would you not be comfortable singing a particular song? Like you said that you've written a couple like murdery ballads, so maybe some of those don't feel like you, but like what's another example?
So like I love a catchy song, but there's some songs that are like so catchy and so cliche that I'm like, I can't. I mean, Peaches, the song that I put out, in my opinion, is far too cliche and cheesy. But I did it.
Really?
But that's like one of those things where I'm like, you know. But it might happen.
Why is Peaches cliche to you?
I don't know if it's cliche. I guess it's so cheesy. Like it's obviously cheesy, and like there's an element of humor to it, but I don't know how to explain it.
I don't think it's cheesy. I think the humor makes it a better song than if it were to be like, I think it's clever.
Yeah,
more
and
than cheesy.
well, that's the thing is like I am proud of it in the sense like I think it's clever, but just like it was too cute. How about that? Too cute.
Sure.
I'm edgy and I'm mysterious.
Clearly. When you're collaborating with all these different people, like what have you felt as a difference between someone who like is gelling really well with you and someone who like might not be gelling as well? Do you see any commonalities?
I think something that is super important to me is someone who like I'm the type of person like I think that you should throw out every idea, like say every idea that comes to mind. And like I do that, and so sometimes I don't realize that it's not good until I say it. So I think it's important for people to listen, and I don't mind when someone says, "Oh, I see what you're saying there." I go, or they go, "But I think it won't work because this." Like I really like the constructive criticism. Something I've noticed that I don't like is when someone just like ignores an idea that's said, like just doesn't say anything. I'm like, no, like just say something, or I don't know. But I appreciate people who like throw out every idea and just like see what noodles like stick to the wall is really.
Yeah, I feel that. I recently started practicing something very embarrassing to build this muscle in me, which is I've started to try to freestyle rap in my bedroom alone.
Dude, yes.
And I'm like and I'm like watching YouTube tutorials, and it's the most vulnerable thing I've done in like a really long time, and I'm incredibly embarrassed about it.
But no one's hearing you, no one's seeing you?
No one's hearing me, no one's seeing me, and yet I am seeing me. It's like embarrassing for me to do it in front of myself is like humiliating. But it's a skill I want to learn.
No, I think that's amazing. And I think your next step should be, have you heard of Harry Mack?
Mm-mm.
He's a freestylist, and what he does is he goes on, what's that like chat room? It's like Omegle or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. It's basically like, you probably did it when you were like 13. I did. And it's like an internet site, and you like randomly can video chat.
Oh,
with
chat
strangers.
roulette.
Yeah.
Chat roulette.
Yeah, chat roulette. Yeah. It's the same thing as that. And then he'll have his mic and everything set up, and these guys will give him like topics, and he'll just rap about it. And like, he's really good though. Like they'll throw out a word like every 10 seconds, and he'll like switch it over. But I think that should be your next step.
I mean, a long time from now, maybe.
Do you want to do it right now?
No. When you first start, their advice is don't rhyme and don't stop. If you can practice just constantly spouting out ideas and keeping it to the beat and not worrying about the rhyme, then you're just building the muscle of like, I know I will always have things to say, so I don't have to worry about what I'm going to say. All I have to do is keep going. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable and very embarrassing. Which is how most co-writing sessions feel to me as well.
Yeah, they can be awkward. I think it just depends. That's so great. I would really like you to like send me like a video when you're ready of your first freestyle rap.
It wouldn't be for a very long time. It would
okay, fine. It doesn't have to be freestyle. You can rehearse it.
I'll just write. That's writing a rap though. That's very different.
That is different. I can't believe how freestylers do it, because you're right. It's like I think they don't run out of ideas because they've had all of those ideas before. Does that make sense? Like, they know what words rhyme. They know what topics fit with what. It's not like they literally pulled it out of thin air. It's that their brain has gone there before, you know?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. There's a freestyle rap of Black Thought just for 13 minutes. He's really discussing like a lot of things happening in the world. And
what's the name?
It's Black Thought. He's
Black
the
Thought.
singer. He's the singer for the Roots.
Oh, okay. I didn't know the name.
Yeah, and it's just really impressive, like how well thought out it is for 13 minutes. And he was just like, people ask him about it, and they're like, "How did you do that?" And he's like, "I just had a lot on my mind, and that was my time to let it out." And it's a really interesting tool to like access a flow state, and that's why I'm interested in practicing it.
That probably feels so good to like be able to flow for that long. Like, that's got to feel like such a high.
Yeah, it's a skill I hope to one day have, but I am just so embarrassed of it right now. I'm just
I
in
think,
the like
I think
very.
you're gonna be so good. I bet you're good right now. I know it, because you're
Nope.
so clever. You're so clever with your lyrics, and like you made a beautiful, cute song about a burrito. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
True that.
have what it takes to be the next.
Now that you're over in Tennessee, like I'm sure you miss the Encino boys and that group of people a ton. But like, what has it been like building community in Nashville?
I will say I got really lucky. Like, I met my roommates on Facebook, FaceTimed one time, and I was like, all right, I'll move in. So they've been really cool about like introducing me to their friends. And I don't know. I'm like pretty good at like putting myself out there. Like, there's a few people that I followed on Instagram for like years. And I'm like, hey, want to hang out? And we do. And it's fun. I'm going to that comedy show. Do you know Theo Vaughn? That's who I'm going to go see tonight. He has a podcast. He's funny. He's a comedian though. But I'm going there with like a new friend that I met like a week ago. And I'm super excited. But yeah, it's been cool. I mean, I miss my friends, but I still talk to them all the time, and it's been cool. I feel comfy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are you interested in bringing like lower deck sessions to Nashville as well? How has that been going?
The plan is next month will be the first one, because we have a big backyard here. It's certainly not going to be the same as it was in Encino, because that view and then like just all the help and like the equipment, like I think it'll take some time to get there. But I'm interested in hosting it at different places. Like, I've met a few people that have like really cool backyards, kind of like So Far Sounds, and just have it different places. But yeah, we're going to start that up like either next month or the following month, because it's just kind of cold right now.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm doing a show, like we'll just go up into the mountains, and I'll bring a power generator, and people can like drive up, or they can like sit in lawn chairs or whatever.
I love that.
Yeah, my father-in-law, he just made me a portable stage, like a wooden stage, so I can like.
Oh my
it
God.
fits. Yeah, it's cool. So it can like fit in my little car, and yeah, I'm really excited about it.
That is so nice. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, this whole thing is weird. I mean, I feel like you adapted so well.
Kinda.
You don't think
like,
so?
I mean, like when you call yourself a musician, right? Part of that is performing live. That's like part of what I consider like my identity is like as a performer. So like not getting to do that a bunch makes me feel kind of like a phony sometimes. Do you relate to this?
Yes. I mean, I barely performed as it is. So yeah.
Outwardly, I'm trying to put on this like air of competence and hope, but like inwardly, every day I have to like work through this struggle of like, well, what am I doing? I'm not making as much money as I used to. this just kind of like parts of it feel like it really just sucks and it's not as rewarding as it used to be. And I'm like, but we're also in like a temporary space. Life isn't always going to be like this. So
but then that's the question too, is like you said that like a year ago and now it's still happening. You know what I mean? So it's like
right.
The question of, is this temporary?
Right. Yeah. How have you worked through some of these topics every day? Just like looking forward at the industry and being like, do I want to keep going? Like I'm scared, but I do want to keep going. Like, how do you work through these ideas?
I live in a state of like constant denial. Just like so delusional. Really what will happen is I feel like for the most part, like I really believe in myself, and like I'm 28 now, and like I feel like I just started working really hard at what I said I really wanted like a year ago. And so I beat myself up for like, I'm like, why didn't I try harder? Like it's fun to try. It's fun to work, but I didn't. And like, it wasn't because I was lazy. It's because I like didn't believe in myself. You know what I mean? So like, I will have moments now where I'll have like epiphanies where I'm like, but it's like the bad kind of epiphany. So I don't know what you call that, but I'll be like, what am I doing? This is crazy. You're too old. What makes you think you're better than these people? You're not good enough. You don't have this. And then I literally just have to tell myself to shut the fuck up and then just go back to my delusional state of thinking that it's possible.
Do you feel like it's delusion though?
I don't feel like
Is there anything that you're doing like on a daily as like a routine to like keep yourself in that? Because I don't see it as denial. I see it as like holding out for hope as much as possible.
Yes.
So like are there things that you're doing? Like I've been journaling every day. I've been meditating every day. I've been making sure I'm working out every day just so that my mental game is better. Like is there anything that you're doing that's been really helpful for you?
I am not like as healthy as you. So I try to journal every day. I try to work out like 2 or 3 times a week. I used to meditate every day and like so things like that now. But what I will say is I write my like to-do list the night before every night. And then I just make sure I do something, at least one thing every day, like working towards what I want to do. And like whether that's like practicing music or even doing something like working on the website or something like that. I would say lately, because I don't have like a job right now, I've spent way more than just a little bit of time every day. But just like, I don't know, it's like if you want to do this, like you have to work really hard at it. And I just keep reminding myself like hard work pays off. Like you've seen it pay off, you know, in small ways. So I'm just like, hard work pays off. So I just like, I don't know, I just work on music and I try to learn a little bit more every day. Try to learn how to work Logic more and editing videos and just anything that you can do to like get better, you know?
Yeah. What are you learning in Logic right now?
I mean, I've been messing around more with like making my own beats. I don't know if you've seen my new Instagram series, but it's called Midnight Memos.
Oh yeah.
And so what I do is I'll find, and I am going to be genuine with all of these. Like I'm not going to fake any voice memos, but I find like voice memos in my phone that I'll make like middle of the night. Like they sound crazy, but I remember in my head they were amazing. So I'll just like kind of like make a song out of it that's like a minute long. And like, so to me, it's like such a creative relief because I don't have intentions of the song going anywhere. So like me using crazy sounds, like it doesn't matter. Like when normally I'd be like, oh, that's too 80s. Like that's not my vibe. I'm like, fuck it. Like, let's do it. You know what I mean? So that's been really fun. And then like in the process of doing that, like almost as a joke, I'll be like, this is kind of sick, you know?
That's awesome.
So stuff like that is fun. And just like, I don't know, messing around with that. And then I've been doing a lot of video editing stuff, which is really fun and really annoying.
Yeah. Why are you doing video editing right now?
Because it's like I want to be able to make my own videos. It's expensive to do music videos. Like, I mean, I'm still filming a music video at the end of this month, but I wanted to do like, I don't know, like lyric videos. I'm like, I can do this. Plus, I'm very picky with like the shots of me. And if I'm the one editing, I can pick all the good shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you filming them also by yourself?
I mean, just like, I just did one like lyric video, and then I've done, so that one I filmed by myself. But it's like, it's a lyric video. Like, I wouldn't try to do like a real music video, just like holding the camera. But I've been editing TikToks on there. I've been on TikTok. Are you on TikTok?
Sorry, I am on TikTok.
Do you like it?
No, I hate it so much.
I hated it. I
think
hated
TikTok
it too.
is like a terrible medium. I just it reminds me of like, it gives me the same feelings that like watching Fox News gives me, where there's just like this made up drama all the time and everyone's just like chasing after made up drama. But this is me being like old and curmudgeonly. So like, tell me what you do like about
you're
TikTok.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. And so I used to feel that way, and it's possible that they have manipulated me into thinking that it's a good thing, but I love TikTok. It's so funny. My algorithm is so catered to me. The videos, they're so funny. They're so good. But I do see, like, I learned something on TikTok that side parts on women is for old people.
Really? Do you want to do a quick side part? Nice.
My hair's so blonde in this light. But yeah, I mean, I've always had my hair in the middle, so it's fine.
Is that for old people?
I don't know. So part of me, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know this. But then the other part of me, I'm not going to let you fucking 13-year-olds tell me what's cool. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. Middle parts are in right now, but
They are in. I will give them that.
I have questions that I ask everybody, and I would love to hear your answers. So, do you have any role models or people that you try to emulate in the music business as you move forward?
I mean, obviously there's people that I really like and look up to, but let me think for a second. I think I may have told you this. I love Alan Stone, and I love Donna Missile. Even though my music is nothing like Alan Stone, I just love him. I love his like use of comedy and his other skills in ways to like promote his music, and like I feel like he truly cares about the music and truly cares about his like fans. But like, you know what I mean? He's so cool. He's so cool. I'll have a better answer to that when the podcast is over, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, Alan Stone's videos are so funny, and it seems he does seem like such a caring person. Can you tell me a story of either the best show you ever did or the worst show you ever did?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the worst show I've ever done. It was back in my hometown. I would say it was about 5 years ago, and it was the night before Thanksgiving. And all my friends, we all moved away from our hometown, so we all get together and we have Friendsgiving, and we get lit. So we had been drinking all day, and I was supposed to perform at this thing. It was like an art music show, kind of like Artist's Brew, kind of like Lower Deck Sessions, and it was in this backyard. And I don't know if I wasn't for sure gonna do it, or if it wasn't like my name was on the thing. It was just like, come perform. There was like 150 people in this big ass backyard, and I am extremely drunk, and my friend convinces me to perform, and I was feeling very confident I was feeling very confident at the time that I was going to do well. And so I went up and I sang maybe 3 songs. And my friend comes up from behind me and is just holding me and rocking with me while I'm playing. And afterwards, what's that?
I said, that's weird.
It's weird. It's weird. And afterwards, I remember I went into the living room and I asked my friend and I said, what songs did I play? Couldn't remember the songs.
Oh, no.
And it was at a time where Snapchat was a thing. And I just remember the next day watching all the Snapchats of me. Every song was halftime. Every song was just half as slow. One, I skipped an entire verse, vocally just bad, and just really slow, like just really feeling it, but like awkwardly slow. And what is so sweet is that everyone posted it and was like, oh my God, like so nice. So
yeah.
So they were just as drunk as I was. Perfect.
But everyone who wasn't there was like, oh, this isn't good.
I don't know what was going on, but I do remember my friend, I said, did I do okay? She goes, I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't good. And I was like, dang. Like normally, like she would lie to me if I like did like not great, but it was bad. And that's when I was like, I'm not, like the most I'll do is like a shot or a drink before a show. That's it.
Yeah. That's smart. I feel like everybody has a story where they learned their own limit. And yeah, but most people don't have it be that bad though, where they play every song halftime.
Yeah. It took a while to be forgiven of that. Like I remember I went back to play a show 2 years later at an actual venue, and then this guy comes up to me. He's like, you haven't been drinking, have you? And I was like, no. He's like, you know, usually you're just always drunk for your shows. And I was like, I'm never drunk for my shows. Like one time he's like, I know, it was pretty bad. And I was just like, can I be forgiven? Like,
yeah.
So people don't forget.
No, especially not with the internet. There was one time when I first started where I was working at Appfolio, and then I drove 2 hours to this gig in Lancaster, my hometown. And then from there, so like I didn't eat dinner, and then I did this gig. I played for an hour and a half, and then I had a full glass of wine, just like really fast.
Yes.
And normally I can take a glass of wine, but it was both the speed of it coming into my body and the fact that I hadn't eaten for like 7 hours. So like both of those, it like threw me like into a state, and I was like, oh no, sorry, the break's gonna be a half hour today, because I can't. I don't know.
Wine on an empty stomach, it makes you like crazy. Like your vision, you're just like, this is yeah. I've done that.
Do you have any bad advice that you've received, like either back when you were in your hometown or down in LA, or like since you've moved to Nashville, like people trying to give you good advice but it's actually just not?
Oh God, yeah. I think one of the things that's the worst advice that I've been given is kind of when people say like play the part, make it appear like, you know, especially in LA, there's people that take pictures and act like they're doing things that they're not doing. And I just remember being like, why would I take a picture in this studio when I'm not recording in this really nice studio? And they're like, you have to make it appear to people like you're doing it. And like, it was genuine. And I could see how maybe years ago that made sense. But I don't feel like people want to feel that separation between like the listener and the artist. Like, I think people want you to be genuine. So I think that was awful advice. And I'm really glad that I didn't post that picture of me sitting in front of a giant soundboard that I didn't record on.
It sounds like a pretty lame picture, and it's like normally when you are in front of a big soundboard, you're not the one moving any of the dials or anything. So like, why
did I need to be back there?
That's not where your job is.
And it was a really cool picture.
One of the first pieces of advice I ever got was to not appear married, because people would think that it would like ruin the sex appeal, as you know, because I'm just oozing sex appeal.
Yes, yes.
And like, have you ever like been in a relationship and people being like, well, don't post about the relationship or anything because you know your male fans might not like it?
I have heard about this. I've been told this by guys that I was seeing that were in music, so that makes sense. I don't think that was their reasoning behind it, but there's nothing more sexy than a married man, though. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Sure.
yeah, I think that's such bullshit. And like, if anything, it's appealing to people if they do think that you're sexy. You know, I don't, because I respect you and your wife. Okay, but like, when you sing a song and you say this is for my wife, like that just melts me. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
that's sexy. Like, that's sexy, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, in my mind, yes. But in the people that I talked with initially, they were like, "Oh, this guy's like less marketable because like little preteens aren't going to be interested in him." And I'm like, when I was a kid, I looked at a bunch of people who were married all the time, and like that doesn't stop a little kid.
No, if anything, you're just like, oh, I wish I were them. Like, I wish I was
Yeah.
there, you know.
Right.
That's funny. So, like, professional people really told you this.
Yeah, it was weird. They also told me not to reveal my age.
I've been told that too.
Like to this day.
I've had a few people tell me, like, just say you're 26 and just cap it there and just forever say that you're 26.
Wow. Why do you not say that you're 26?
I did one time. I was in a meeting and they asked how old I was and I said 26. And at the time I had just turned 28 and I was just like, I remember after that I was like, I can't believe. And I like got paranoid and I like went on my Instagram to make sure I didn't post like my birthday or anything. I was just like, I can't do this. I can't, like, I get it, but if anything, it's gonna look better. Like, I should lie and say that I'm 33. And people say, dang, you look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or like,
the best looking 40-year-old I've ever seen.
yeah, like, say you look older. Don't lie about your age. It sucks. It sucks that the age is a thing. That's gotten to me lately. I'm just like, ugh.
Why do you feel like that matters?
Because it's a couple of things. I see people that are where I am or where I want to be, and they're like 21, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm late to the game in that sense. Like, I didn't put the work in younger when I started. And there's also just like the image, you know, it's like, oh, you have to be like young and pretty. So it's that. And I just, I try to remind myself that no matter what age you are, there's going to be a lot of other people that are also your age that will relate to you. You're not the only one like getting older. So
Your experience as a woman and like dealing with like the physical pressure to look younger, like how do you balance that with like, you know, being someone who's 28? Like, you don't want to dress like you're a kid. You want to dress like yourself, like in the current state that you're in. So like, how do you walk that line?
Yeah, I truly do not give a fuck about those. Like, I wear overalls and Crocs. Like, I wore that when I was 5 and I wear that now. So when it comes to that, like, I pretty much dress however I want. Sometimes I'll like try to dress more mature and I'll like feel like grown, and then I'll feel like I'm like boring. I'm like, I don't think this is it for me. So like when it comes to that, I like dress however I want. Like, I don't know. Like, unless I'm like going to an interview or like an office meeting, like I might try to dress my age, but for the most part, like I don't think I dress my age. But when it comes to like, oh, I forgot what I was going to say.
When this person initially told me like not to talk about my marriage and not to talk about my age, I was hanging out, like I was working at a gig. I like played a gig and then was like selling merch with these two gals who are my friends in LA. And this is when I like first got this advice, and this lady walked up and she was like, "Oh, is this one of your girlfriends?" And I like impulsively was like, "Yep, they both are." And afterward, I was like, "Sorry guys, I don't know why I said that. Actually, let me tell you the whole reason why I said that." And I like took them through the whole story, and I was like, "So apparently I'm not supposed to say that I'm not married, but that just feels weird, and I wasn't about to pick one of you, so I picked both." And and they were like, "Yeah, it was a little weird. Probably just tell people you're married." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell people I'm married."
Yeah. You're like, that's better.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so funny.
It's so hard to lie often. Like, it's just not the way you want to live.
You can't lie. You can't lie in this day and age and get away with it. People will find out. Like, you can't do it. Yeah. It is kind of funny though, because I didn't know you were married. So did you take that advice for a while?
But you knew I was married when I like showed up to your house with my wife.
Yeah, no, at that point. But I mean, like, at first, I didn't. No, I didn't know you guys were married when you guys showed up.
Really? I introduced her.
I was like, "Oh," you're like, "This is my girlfriend." I was like, "That's cool. Like, do you guys live together?" And then you're like, "Yeah, well, we're married." So I was like, "Oh."
Oh no.
Then yeah, you live together.
I'm pretty sure I would have told you that she was my wife, but I mean maybe I didn't. Maybe that was something I kept. I didn't feel comfortable because I when you go into the music industry, you're not sure what's good or bad advice because everyone's making everything up all the time.
Everyone's making everything up.
So I wasn't sure how to take that advice until probably this last year when I was like, screw it. I know who I am. I'm a married man.
Yes.
And that's going to be my thing. And that's okay. And I am happily married, and I would like to stay that way, so I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, did you have any conversations with her about that? And you're like, "Hey, like I can't post about you?" Like, did you have that conversation?
She doesn't care about being posted about, which is one of my prerequisites for marriage. You can't, like, I don't want anybody being like, you have to post about me in order to prove that you love me.
Right.
Because what I post about has nothing to do with what I care about. There's like, it's a business tool that I use that's like not really an expression of who I am. So, I mean, it's a thing that I brought up, and I've like told her all of these same stories, and she's like, "I don't care. Just do what makes you feel comfortable. It's probably weird not to tell people that you're married."
I love that. Yeah, do what you want. It's probably weird, but that's great. That's trust. That's trust. Because if someone told me that, like, "Hey, like, I can't post about you, but it's like for business," I'd be like, "Okay, all right, sure."
But now I feel comfortable with it. But again, that's not what the Instagram account is for. So I'm like well aware that posts with her get more likes, but again, that's the point of my Instagram is not for you to be in on my marriage. The point of my Instagram is for you to know what's going on with my business. And and sometimes I will totally shout her out, and other times I'm like, I don't want to because that's not what this is for.
That is interesting, and I feel like I look at my Instagram like that too, and I'll like post pictures with my friends, and then I'll go, just the layout. It's not, you know. But then I'm like, okay, be a genuine person and do what Instagram is for. Sharing memories and things like that. But like at the end of the day, you're like, this is a free business tool. It's pretty awesome. And you know what else is a free business tool? TikTok. If
you want to feel and see all the drama, you just get on the TikTok. Moving forward, like what do you have? Like, do you have any projects coming out in the near future that you're feeling good about?
I do. I have my EP, which like I did the Kickstarter for and raised so much money. So it's honestly shocked that people contributed like that. Like I've never done anything like that. And it caused me so much anxiety to even ask for help or do that. And couldn't believe people helped. So I have felt a ton of pressure to release that like right now. I'm like, I can't leave them waiting anymore. I have to release it. But talk to some peeps and I'll probably have to wait till summer, but I'm going to release a single what are we? February next month. And then another single. So the EP will like kind of slowly.
Cool. How many songs?
5.
Do you have a favorite?
I do. I like the one. It's Planets, and I put that one out like years ago under my real name, Dani Stacy, and that was like something I did by myself. I need to actually take that down. What am I doing? But we redid it with like the cello and drums. So I like that one. I think it's cool. It's kind of sexy.
Nice. Great. And if people want to find you on the internet, how do they do so?
Dani Stacy, Dani Stacy. That should pop on up.
Boom, boom.
Wow, I just like can't believe I haven't deleted that other version yet. I need to do that.
I like that I do like that my podcast continues to remind you to take things off the internet.
Yeah, is there anything else that I need to take down? I tried to take the Gemini one off, but that other guy did it, and I don't know if he's taken it down yet. Do you know what I'm talking about? The ukulele video that you called me out on in Costa Rica?
No, I don't remember it.
You brought it up to me, and you're like, "Oh, Gemini, was it you? It was you." And I was like, "That video still exists?" And you're like, "Oh yeah." And then this song, he like found all my old dark secrets, and I'm like, "What?"
That's awesome. I love it.
I'll send it to you if I find it.
Great. Well, thanks for hanging out. I'll go ahead and clap us out.